And we are live. Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by
those guys.
What's going on, everyone? What's going on? It is Wednesday night with those guys, and as you know, Wednesday night with those guys is sponsored by those guys. This is where we talk about everything in the drone world and promote the usage of drones. How's everyone doing this Wednesday? It is hump day, the middle of the week. Hope everyone's been able to get out and fly. If the weather's been good, we've had some super duper rain out here. I think that rain was traveling across the I'm not sure.
Long Island. It traveled from Long Island all the way upstate because Ken Jenny from Rhode Island took a picture.
It was actually came from northwest area because I was actually upstate taking care of something.
You're talking about our most recent one, the one that washed away part of the Palisades Highway and all of that stuff.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I guess I got back in time.
Yeah, you did. You did. I was surprised. I've never heard of a rainstorm hitting us and the Palisades, which is mountainside, being washed away. If there's been rock slides, we've had rock slides along the Palisades.
There was a lot of that because on the roads trying to get back, I was going over rocks. You had to drive real slow because all of your tires are on rocks. It's not you're not on the road.
Yeah. Okay. Well, glad you made it back safely.
It was an adventure.
Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday nights with those guys. What's up, everyone? Who's in the chat? I know John Olson was here. SJM, Angie Lost Girls, Jody Drone Shots. Wedge and Big said he's going to catch some sunset shots, twilight shots. Russell Glaram's here. He said, but he'll check out the replay. Who else? Matt Bagwell also probably listening in the background. If you haven't clicked that like, there's Johnny Drone Flyer. If you haven't clicked that like, click that like now. We'd appreciate it. So you don't have to do it later.
Yeah, too. You mentioned Jody, right?
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Oh, don't kick the computer.
Huh?
No, I accidentally kicked the computers.
Okay. That's not good.
It happens.
Like mine, if it's like mine, I kick it, it might shut off.
No, I didn't actually kick the computer. It's on a stand and I kicked the stand.
Okay. All right. Well, what's going on with you, man? How was your week?
Pretty good. I mean, I listen. Things in spite of some of the things that have occurred, you know how things are going. Things are doing all right. They're looking up. Thank God.
Looking up. That's good. That's very good. Things looking up. It's about damn time the good guy gets one.
Every now and then.
Right.
Every now and then
the squirrel gets a nut.
You know what I mean? Every now and then you're there when they first open up the loaf of bread.
Yeah, right. You get those first fresh pieces, right? About kudos to you and for something happening to a good guy for once. Because sometimes I wonder.
Yeah,
I was telling you I wasn't feeling well earlier, and that was a farce because I've eaten at this place before. Yeah, so but
did they have a rating?
Yeah, and crayon. No rating whatsoever.
Always gotta check.
Yeah, I know. That was on me. It won't happen again.
Yeah, I walked past this one place that had a C rating in the window and it was closed.
Wow. Yeah. I wouldn't go inside a place with a C on it. Those of you who don't know what we're talking about, here in New York, they came up with a rating system for all restaurants, fast food joints. If you sell food there, it's supposed to have a letter grading. And A being the best, B being okay, they could clean up a little, and C meaning not so kosher. If you want to say it like that, right?
Well, kind of, sort of. I mean, it's more or less like, C is like, if you see the C rating, see your way to another place.
Yeah, or buyer beware. Go in, don't
You
come out.
rolling the dice on the botulism there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Why does it not have me
It's
signed in?
it's like the government said, well, we say they can have like 5 roaches, but somehow they keep having more
Stop.
friends.
Stop. They said we could have 5. No. Oh no.
Well, they gotta have a legal amount.
I didn't know there was a legal amount of bugs to have in the rest. Well, there actually is because there actually is because I actually found this out watching on the History Channel. They were saying in prisons, the food is allowed a certain amount of bug parts. There's a rating.
In which prison is
food.
this?
Huh?
In which prison is this? Because prison food is better than the food in the public school system.
This was a long time ago. This was way before they started giving you little menus and shit like that. It's not. This is way back.
Well, I was.
John Olson said it's cheaper to eat at sea, though. A good one. Sea meaning crap. Yeah, we have started.
No, because the Maalox and all that other stuff, and the possibility of being at the emergency room is not worth
the
little extra that you save.
That's true. If you're spending it on Tums and Pepto-Bismol.
When you get down to like that last 3 bites of your burger, and you're like, here.
Stop, man. Oh, that's nasty.
It's not worth it.
Now you don't know how many hairs you've eaten. You just caught that one. I spent 3 days eating bugs and rice during my guerrilla training in the Philippines. See, that's because you had to. That was part of your training. Either you ate or you starved. Hey,
what happened?
Girl, what's up, man?
John Olson says bugs and rice
during his guerrilla training in the Philippines.
You couldn't just get rice.
What happened?
You couldn't just get rice.
Well, that's the bugs and protein. I'm guessing they did say something.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
That's tough, though. That's tough, really. I don't even want to know what kind of bugs they were. Doesn't matter. Crickets.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Yeah. Hey, Copper State Ariel, how are you?
You go up to Eve, like, can I just get rice, please? No, but Lawrence, I just hope everyone was able to take advantage of that Amazon Prime Day. I think you got up until 11:59 tonight to jump on that.
Yes. There was some decent stuff.
I thought so too. Some great stuff because I guess while supplies last, they on this stuff, they had some ND filters from all over the joint, from what they had going on here. And they had the Mini 3 Pro. That was a great little sale they had going on.
Yeah, right here I have
saving over $200 on that.
Hold on, I'm pulling that up now. You enable sharing.
Oh, I forgot all about you in that. But yeah, they
right here is the offer on Amazon for, like you said, for $729. That's 20% off.
They actually was originally at like I said, while supplies were lasting on that note, it was $693 for that with the RC.
Yes. This is the second day of, those of you who don't know, Amazon had Amazon Prime Day. So if you were a Prime member, they offered certain deals. Yesterday was the first day, today's the second. And I do remember people saying that they had seen it for $600 and change. I think Ron mentioned it in a video somewhere.
It was on the listed on there. I saw that the first time when it first dropped.
Okay.
And it might even be, I think the coupon in there would be probably, I don't know if it'll still be able to do it.
Oh, I honestly couldn't tell you, but for $729,
Hey, listen,
it's
what was it before? It was what nine? What nine?
mhm,
Yeah,
almost
nine
a
ninety
G.
nine, a thousand
Yeah,
dollars,
yeah,
thousand
almost a
dollars
G.
before, and you can still get the what is it? The three for a good price too. But they have these filters for both of the drones on that Prime sale for the Mini 3 and the
Yeah,
Mini Pro.
I did see a filter kit.
Yeah,
Um, I actually did, yeah, I did see I on this on in the advertising here.
nearwear,
Hold on.
nearwear
For the
had
Mavic 3, for the Mavic 3
six
Sin,
pack.
they huh?
They had a 6-pack filters for it.
Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They do. And it's interesting because they're actually variable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can open this up in a new
Are
tab.
they? I know that they have
Yes, I look, that's what made me look at it
because
and think
it does.
so.
It didn't say that in the advertisement,
But this is what makes me
and
think
it
that the
shows
variable.
that there's a couple of filters.
But hold on. This is what made me think they're variable. Maybe it's a locking mechanism. Maybe that's it. But if you look at the screen here, this one doesn't have it. The UV, the CPL, and only ND polarized have it. You see the second notch right here? There's a notch for CPL even, and then there's this notch here. I just wondering if that has to be lined up when it's locked or something.
Because this is circular polarized filter, and one is a polarized and an ND filter in one.
Okay, I got you. So it's both modes.
Mhm.
ND8 polarized in up here. So this is polar. Okay, you just see, you learn something new every day.
Mhm.
All right, there. See, that explained it. So this is a multifunctional. These are multifunctional filters. You have
Yes,
polarized and non-polarized.
it's a nice little set of filters. I mean, I had something similar to that for the pocket.
Yeah. Yes, I remember. I do remember that.
It gives you a little funny little colors because personally the polarized filter, I find that it works good when if you're like over water stuff like that, and the glare that you would get over water, it kind of
Okay.
eliminates that heavy glare that you get,
Right.
softens it a little. You don't necessarily need it in most other cases. I mean,
Right.
some people do use it for different. I have too. It just that to me it changes colors a little bit when you don't really want it to sometimes.
I totally understand because the night filter that I
Big
use,
Bird, Copper
they
State,
the night filter that I
Little
use
Rose.
does that. It changes the color a little. But they also had this set of filters too here, Herman.
But they had some for the yeah, but they also had some for the Mavic 3.
Yes, yes, they did. These
Now
are
these set of
these are for the
filters here
Pro.
that they have for the Pro were pretty nice too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. These are non-polarized. This one is polarized.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
polarized, and then you had a
And
six.
they only go from 16 to 64.
Right,
You
this
know,
this this is a good setup right here for that 4/3 camera. The way it's set up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey Angie, Big Matt, what's good, man?
I
Yeah,
was
Big
trying to tell you,
Big
yeah, two
Matt is
people right now.
Big Matt
Copper State.
is the new spokesperson to bring Sunday nights with those guys back. He
Yeah.
he had hit me up and he was kind of hinting it would be nice to have Sunday nights with those guys back. But they don't realize how much we're enjoying our Sundays, do they, Herman?
Well, sometimes I'd
You
like
was
to.
able to go away for the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Hope you're feeling good, Big Matt. He was having some issues,
Oh,
medical issues. So now he's back and back. He's getting back in shape. So
okay.
glad you're feeling better.
Speedy recovery,
We
man.
did miss your presence, sir. Even though we know if we don't see Big Matt, he'll probably check out the stream later on.
Well, I always ask. I always tell you. I said I didn't see Matt in the chat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Yellow Rose says he saw it for $639
Okay.
at the start when they increased the price over the day. They did do it.
Right. Yeah.
But Amazon Prime, if you caught it yesterday, you got it for $639. If you caught it
If
today,
you jumped on it
mm,
and you got it, good, congratulations.
even better deal. Correct.
That was a good deal.
Yeah, Angie, you would use those filters when you're shooting video, and you see how much you can make the clouds. Like, this photo behind me was actually done without a filter on. But if I was shooting video to get the clouds to look like this or similar to this, I would use a filter. Good to hear, Matt. Good to hear. He says, I'm good. I'm all good. I'm back. That's what's up. That's what's up. Glad you're back, man, and everything's good. People miss your presence, or they notice you're not there.
It depends, Lawrence. I mean, it depends on how bright it is. And
True.
if you can get to like a 4 or even lower, like 2.
Right. Now knowing what I know, I would actually, if I was at this same situation behind me, which is damn near sundown, twilight hour, which is why we were there, I would even use a night filter for this now. But like you mentioned, how sometimes filters change the color, it would affect the color of the sky.
Let's take it off completely. Or shoot video without it.
And this was shot with the Air 2S. So for those of you out there that are thinking, should I get the Air 2S or the Air 3? The Air 3 has a lot of good features to it. We'll talk about that later, right, Herman?
Yeah, a little bit. But
yeah, a little bit later. Thank you, Angie. Thank you much.
Like I said last week, I don't want to beat a dead horse on it, but that hearing took place last week, Friday. And
oh shoot. Hold on.
What? They threw you out?
Keep talking.
Oh, yeah. The hearing here in New York took place at one police plaza last Friday, where a lot of people from the drone community who left their comments. There were people who were there to speak, and they spoke from many different places in the drone industry.
Yeah.
And when I say that, to say as the drone industry as a whole, but different people from like agriculture, the movie industry, construction, whatever, so on and so forth. I actually had work. I had a job that was scheduled to do that day, and I could not make it to the hearing, but I did submit a comment online, and Lawrence did attend the hearing.
Yes.
So if you had any questions about the hearing, you can ask Lawrence. Lawrence, if you can tell him a little bit about the hearing, like who was there, if you remember exactly any of the companies that were there.
Yeah. Hey, Ray of Sunshine, how are you? Actually, I can. First, I would like to say that it was interesting. We knew before going into the hearing that it was pretty much a done deal what the New York City Police Department was trying to do by making it so that in order to take off or land in New York, not just New York City, in New York, you had to apply to your local municipality 30 days in advance, and you had to pay a fee of $150. And on top of that, it was not guaranteed that they would get back to you within those 30 days, which meant your day could come up and it could rain. You would get no refund if they let it through. And if whether you flew or not, you're out $150. Hey, Winder from Maui, how are you? Welcome to the stream. But I was there. Um, Drone X Factor, Irving Donaldson. Um,
Any
there were a bunch of us there.
companies?
Deneen was there. Um, Jeff Norman, who actually spoke. I didn't plan on speaking there, but I did, Herman, and I'm actually glad I did. But like you mentioned, there were people from the movie industry. And I say movie industry, these guys are mentioning, you know, small jobs, like they call a small job Pixar and things like that. So when they say movie industry, when you come to shoot a movie in New York City, you usually call these guys if you don't have your own camera crew, that kind of thing. There was a member from the AMA, a gentleman named David. I didn't remember his name, but he was head of on the AMA field at Calvert Vaux Park. He was there. There were people from the media, as far as reporters. Hey, Drone Psych, news reporters. There were cameramen for the media there. There was a gentleman there. They call him Captain Ship or something. For the last 25 years, he's been recording and documenting ships coming in and out of New York Harbor. He's on YouTube. He's so popular that ship captains, when they find out they're coming to New York for the first time, they called him and asked, can he film them coming in through the harbor? He's a helicopter pilot and uses drones. Okay. There were a lot of people there from different, like Herman said, construction. There were private drone companies, LLCs, like those guys, Ariel there. Everybody, every facet. My only thing was, Herman, honestly, was that when we got there, there were maybe about 40 or 50 chairs set up, like they weren't expecting anyone to come. And by the time it started, we may have had maybe 100 to 125 people there. But it was pretty much a done deal.
Okay.
A lot of people did make the fact that
Were there any?
huh? What happened?
No, nothing. I was asking you if there were any Karens there.
This was strange. There were no Karens, but there was a Ken who was a helicopter pilot. First, he was scheduled to speak. What they did was, if you applied online when you submitted your comment, you could request to speak there. So what they did was everybody who requested to speak online, they let them speak. And then whoever wanted to speak after them in the audience, you sign this list. And that's what I did. I went up and signed the list. And I went up and a few of the people here, hold on, I have the picture set up. I'm just trying to get some close-ups. This is David Herman from the AMA. You said you might recognize him right here. Hold on. You see him?
No.
From Calvert Vaux. It should be up now.
Okay. Well, it's kind of far away, but
now, is that a little better?
Yeah, I know the guy.
He was a representative from the AMA, and he spoke on how it's ludicrous that people come to their parks to fly, and AMA had their word in it though. But his name was David. He's claimed to be a top representative for AMA. Yes, that was there. Now this chick right here was the one we were submitting our emails to. She was the head lawyer.
Okay.
Tall female too. She was tall. This was her assistant.
Okay.
This dude here never muttered a word. If I didn't hear him say hello to someone when we first got there, I would think he was a mute. He never said a word or nothing. He never said thank you for your comments, whatever. You know, people gave their comments and spoke, and certain people she would say thank you to, certain people she wouldn't. You know, but no one up there was obnoxious. At one time, this was full. What people were doing were every time they spoke, they would come sit down for 2 minutes and then they would leave.
Okay.
Okay, but a lot of these people in the front right here, these were all from the movie industry. There was a helicopter pilot who came late. There's your boy, Xavier, right there, giving his comments, etc. This is Irving Donaldson. He's another one, another NYC 5 borough member. This gentleman right here is not only ex-military, but he's former and retired police officer, and a few other things. He got in with his ID. He just flashed it. They didn't search him or nothing. But everybody else had to go through the metal detector and all of that stuff. But he got to say his part, and everyone that she was very tentative. This chick was writing the whole time. But every time someone mentioned something about the 30-day fee, I can't see the chat, so I'm sorry. You'd have to pay attention to that. But the 30-day fee, she would mark something down. If they mentioned that $150 cost too much, she would write something down. Certain statements that everyone made, she made sure to document, like she was taking a tally or something.
Okay.
This is that helicopter guy, Captain Sky or whatever his name is. He's been flying New York harbors for 25 years, and now he's incorporated drones into his business. He says, and every now and then I like to fly a drone because the drone might be able to get a certain shot I can't get with the helicopter.
Okay.
And he's been doing it for 25 years on YouTube.
Okay.
So people came to represent. Major questions that were asked there. These were a few of the other people, but a lot of the questions, they weren't asked. A lot of the comments that were stated there basically had to deal with, you got to be out of your mind. For me to apply as a business, for the movie industry, their pitch was, we have a producer that gets a permit through your city to shoot a movie on 52nd Street, the northeast corner. And then we get there, and because of lighting, the producer, director, whoever's in charge decides he wants to shoot it on the southeast corner. We have to get a permit. You're saying that we would have to apply 30 days in advance to move across the street and pay another $150, and that's crazy.
Yeah, that is a little crazy.
He said, often producers want what they want. They're on a budget. We apply for it. And you know, Herman.
Right. And that is the same thing with us. You know, you have a contract negotiated based upon the time and what it costs for you to operate. And you're on a reoccurring situation. Yeah, maybe that could say, yeah, we can get an application for something for that. Right. But for it to be a constant usage of your equipment,
yes,
you'll be paying these fees every day, and no customer is going to absorb that.
But here's the pet peeve. There's no, hold on, I'll answer your question in a second, Jody. Hey, Brooklyn Jimmy, here's the pet peeve. People were saying, there's no guarantee that you'll even get the waiver to freaking fly. So
but you don't need it. But this is the thing. It's not even needed, because with this going on, Lance is still going to give you airspace approval.
Right.
They're asking you to get something from them that's not even necessary when we have remote ID coming, where they can monitor all of the drones that they want to have issues with.
No, Drone Psych is right. YouTube started in 2005. He's been using other media sources and cameras and video. But Jody asks, how do we get the phone in? Well, we were told there's no cameras, no recording or anything. But when you walk in there and you go to give your comment,
they're videoing.
In the lawyer's office, videotaping everybody who made a comment and everybody who spoke there.
So then you can video.
So then one guy pulled his phone out and said, hell, they're recording us. What the hell? And he stood up and said, one guy came in with the RS2, the DJI RS2 with the camera on, well balanced. The guy that he was with got up and spoke, said what he had to do, was all up there like he was shooting a movie and shit. And he went and sat down. They sat down, they left. So I pulled my phone out and I told Xavier, Drone X Factor, you guys know him as, when I go up, take some pictures of me, and when you go up, I'll take pictures of you. So that's kind of how we did that. And Irving Donaldson, hey, Draymond, how are you? But getting back to it, a major point that they made at this hearing, I'd say 85% of the people made at this hearing was the $150 is crazy. And one guy said, for you guys that are in the movie industry and in the media, $150 permit is nothing. But for me, who just started a drone business, that can become quite costly if you have 4 or 5 jobs.
Yeah, It can. The thing is, like I'm saying to you, if your drone is in the air every day,
Mm-hmm.
how many applications is this we're applying for, and how far in advance do we put these
Well,
applications?
this is some.
And then how and who's absorbing this?
This
Who's
is
absorbing
something
this for us?
someone brought up also. A young lady. They had women there. This lady.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take one site at 18 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
18 months. And you're flying at least 2 to 3 times a month.
Right.
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 Now, you've already negotiated this contract. Now you're going to take from your profits now because you've already negotiated.
You've already negotiated it, and you didn't add it to the price.
Right.
Yeah. You're in a hole.
So then now you're going to have to add this into the cost of your price and figure out now what jobs going forward to your customer. Look at how drastically the price changes.
But no, not only that, it does change drastically. You're 100% right. But the guy's point was, at $150, I should be able to fly. No, there's no chance you might not get back to us in time. What kind of bullshit is that? And then, hey, Mr. Crawley, and then also the points that were brought up. One gentleman brought this up, and he did say, New York City Police Department cannot, and he wrote it in the letter. If you go and read these letters, he said, New York City Police Department cannot tell me where I can fly my drone and where I can land. You can tell me where I can land and take off, but you cannot tell me where I fly my drone. And you remember the question I asked you? Suppose I'm in Long Island, Herman.
Yeah.
I'm in Long Island, and I want to land. It's not an emergency. I want a one shot from Long Island, Atlantic Beach Bridge to Far Rockaway, okay, which is right across the water. It's maybe not even a quarter of a mile, an eighth of a mile across, a very small drawbridge. And I need or want to land in Far Rockaway. You mean to tell me I have to apply, pay $150, 30 days in advance? Everyone kept saying, what if it rains? What if it snows? What if there's a tornado, a catastrophe?
A TFR pops up.
Right, TFR pops up. Now we have to tell our clients that we can't do this because we have to wait. Everyone in the media was saying, I cannot. News is created instantaneous in the media. Right now, a building can blow up. You mean I need to have a permit for it? It's impossible. It was impossible. So they made, Draymond says, that is what I pointed out in my comments. This rule policy will hurt commerce. And that.
Right. And so did I, Draymond, because my point of and I looked at from what I do. And this has occurred several times.
Yes, it has.
Things have occurred where the date to do something was pushed back. So now it changes the date for the next job that they want done. So now if we had applied for anything, those applications are trashed.
Yes. Yes.
And you don't have the time to reapply for the time because it's not going to happen in 30 days. It's going to happen in the next 2 days.
The lady that was from the agriculture department, she's
the plants will wait. The plants will wait.
Right, but
vegetation will wait 30 days for you to. It won't change it.
Yeah, sure they will. The lady from the agriculture department said, I dust and crop people's fields, and it's predicated on weather. It may take her 1 or 2 days to do property upstate New York. I don't know how many drones she had. She said, but I make these appointments, hypothetically speaking, for July 15th, okay, and 16th. And on July 15th or 16th, it rains, snows, a meteor falls out of the sky. And now, right now, I have to tell these people who have already paid me, I can't crop their fields, dust their fields.
Don't tell the police a meteor falls out of the sky, because the police will ask you something like that's happening.
But it was an interesting hearing, and like I mentioned, Herman and I kind of had an inside skinny that it was already pushed through.
I just believe that a lot of things may be curtailed.
Oh, thank you, Corey. Yeah, Corey went with me too. YACL 310. He said, "Don't forget the BS. Sorry about the friend who flies for the fire department who is upset about drones flying." Oh, retracted. He retracted it. But the helicopter pilot, I have to tell you,
Yeah.
the helicopter pilot, now he was the guy who was in that list to speak. He was like number 4. They
Mhm.
called his name like 3 times. And
Right,
he
right.
wasn't there. To make a long story short, he got there late.
Hmm.
Okay, when everybody was almost finished. Oh, I'm so and so, so and so, and I was scheduled to speak, but he got there and he had said how there's so many drones flying around in New York City that it's like the wild, wild west. And I thought this was strange because he didn't have anything good to say about drones. And Herman, we've seen how they fly helicopters in New York City.
You're absolutely right, Draymond. But like I was saying, things it's just ridiculous. And did anybody mention about remote ID? Because remote ID coming,
Yes, yes.
the police department should have absolutely no problem if they want to monitor drones all day.
Herman, someone pulled out their phone and they said, "You see this?" Oh, it was Xavier. He says, "You see this? This is an app. It's a loft. It gives me clearance to fly right now. I can make money right now." You understand? There's no 30-day. Or someone suggested instead of 30 days, why don't you make it down to 10 days prior?
Mm-hmm.
And when I got up, I said, let's take it even further. Let's do it from 7 to 10 days.
No, that's not even, no, you can't, because
it's still not, but at 150.
You're talking about eliminating time-sensitive stuff and reoccurring things that may come up. No, it's impossible. An application is impossible. That has to be done away with completely.
Yes.
If you want me to log in to something and get clearance as a Part 107 pilot operating in an area.
Well, someone did mention that remote ID is doing everything that you want.
Exactly, it's doing everything that they want to do, except for
the guy said
except for ripping people off.
The guy said for free, it's doing it. Waypoint England, as far as remote ID, we saw last week that DJI is working on getting some older drones approved. Today I looked at the list.
We also spoke about that here last week too.
Yes.
On some of the older drones that will be implemented into that.
But this conversation has to do with New York City Police Department. In the 5 boroughs, they're trying to make it so that definitely in all 5 boroughs, you know how we go to a spot and there aren't a lot of people around and we need to get a certain angle. And we're flying recreationally. And we get the approved authorization to take off through a loft and Lancer and everything. They're trying to fix it so that you cannot fly from anywhere in the 5 boroughs. But someone brought it up. How can you stop us from flying on a sidewalk when it's a public place? And their argument is it's our
city property.
It's our city. Yes.
It's city property. Here's the thing. And here's my argument to that. You're not saying I can't fly in New York. You're saying I can't take off and land.
Right.
So hold on. So when your police officers that hold the same certificate that I hold, that are using the drone for the same reason that I'm using it for, to earn a living, and they are operating in the same city, where do they take off and land at? And do they have to apply 30 days in advance to do this?
Good question. Did you?
Because I know they don't. I know they don't.
No, they don't. Of course not. Did you see what Draymond put? He put Lance system is slowing down to 2 weeks a month to get clearance to fly in controlled airspace.
Okay.
I did not know that, but I'm going to pay attention to that because usually I click that button that says fly as a Part 107 because usually I'm trying to fly for work.
Right.
You know, I have my Air 2S for recreation, you know, but I
They don't
use my
want you
Mavic
all
3.
up in the skies.
I use my Mavic 3 for work.
hmm They
So,
don't want you all up in the skies.
30 days in the barrows, yes, ray of sunshine. They want you. Here's the situation. Today is today is the 12th, which means in order to fly in August, that's it. This is crazy, right? In order to fly in August, because it's already the 12th, the first 2 weeks of August are gone. But if I want to fly on the 13th, 14th, 15th, or whatever, and during that time, let's say next on the 16th, which is a Wednesday. Hold on. They want you to apply 1 month ahead of that date. Pay $150, and then there's no guarantee that they will get back to you and say you could fly there. Which means, just give me your money.
I'm just gonna fly, and if they say anything, I'm gonna ask them. You got somebody that rides around and hands out these applications?
You saw Big Matt? He says, Herb, you said it correctly. It's a ripoff. Police have no discretion when the U.S. government already is set up to register with. Yeah, I get it. What about the drone patrol for News Channel 2?
Well, check this out.
Actually have
to answer Waypoint's question.
Yeah.
By the end of the year, you should get a firmware update that should have everything locked, everything sewed up by the
even
end.
Down to the older stuff.
Yes, by the end of the year, because it's saying December 31st for the Phantom 4.
No, Mr. Crowley, you're misunderstanding. In order to fly next month, they want me to go down to the city office, the police department, because this is New York City Police Department, and pay $150 to fly next month. Now, if it rains, snows, or anything crazy like that, yeah, it's a money grab. Right, by January 1st, the majority of DJI previous generation drones will be compliant.
Yes.
So eventually their entire fleet will be compliant, which is the objective. And people kept pointing this out at the hearing. And she would make a note. If somebody said something someone said before, there were a few people that got up there and were like, Abba, Gabba, do. But there were one or two people that did. But for the most part, everyone was coherent and understandable.
Okay.
Yeah. The Mavic Platinum Pro, yes, just got added to that list. That's as far back as they're going, which is okay because I still have the Mavic Pro and my Mavic Pro doesn't care.
Well, yeah, I mean, so in all, everything went well. And I mean, I just think that, and hopefully they'll curtail that because $150, 30
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
What happened?
Go ahead, finish. Go ahead, finish first.
I can't see that happening.
Well, this is what I wanted to point out. I noticed that, where's the pictures? This lady here, I have to pull her picture up first, which was the head lawyer. Hold on. Yeah, this is good enough to show. This lady here, like I said, she was the head lawyer, right here with the dark hair in the middle. Every time someone mentioned the 30 days being too long, she took a note. Every time someone mentioned $150 being too much, she took a note. Every time someone mentioned this is just plain crazy, you do not have jurisdiction, she took a note. So I'm guessing she was doing some kind of tallying because lawyers, they listen. It's their job to listen.
Understandable. And you know what bothers me with this? Because a couple of months ago, there was a bill proposed that for noise pollution for helicopters. And the very same governor, Ms. Hochul, got there and she vetoed it because she said that New York City had no jurisdiction to legislate in this area.
Yep.
So here we go once again. Here we go once again, where New York City is allowed to legislate something that they have no jurisdiction on.
Well, this is what someone also mentioned. There was so many good points. And what did one guy mention was he pretty much said, how come the FAA isn't here? And I was wondering that myself. And then you told me the FAA will show up. It's like you walking down the street and you're walking normally, and unless you step in
Hear
shit,
nothing about nothing
you don't
until
think
you
about shit.
right.
You don't think about dog shit on the street unless you step in it. So that added that up. Hey, Bill, coast to
The
coast.
FAA is an agency like any other agency. They don't care until it happens.
I would like to thank everyone that did show up. Like I said, Jeff Norman, Irving Donaldson, Xavier, Drone X Factor, Deneen was there. Corey, my boy, he came over. He came too, and he got to meet some of the big dogs, some of the New York City Flyers there. And it is what it is now. By them taking those tallies, I doubt very much. I could be wrong. I seriously hope that I'm not, but we're hoping that they try to amend this, meaning, all right, 30 days is too long.
Well,
Okay, $50 is too much. Do you see it? Hey, Bob Case, you see it all the time on TV. The guy walks
I'm gonna tell you exactly what
5,000 and winds up with 2,000.
Well, what I can tell you what I know it was designed for.
What's up, Bob?
What I know it was designed for was to try to deter recreational flyers, pilots,
Because I know recreational pilots aren't going to pay $150 to fly.
Operating outside of a freer.
Yeah, or so they thought. But someone brought up another thing. So you're doing this. I think I said this. I said, so this sounds like you're not doing this for the people who are out there flying illegally. You're doing it for the people who are going and following the rules. So you're taking from people who are already doing what they're supposed to. Because we discussed that.
There's no law or rule or regulation that has been put in place for anyone who has done anything illegally. This is why it is illegal. And these things only interfere with people who are operating legally and following the common rules of such said operation. You know, the rules and regulations, when they keep coming up with more and more rules and reforms, they are not for criminals. They are for those. Like, show me one law that, show me one part of this whole application process is put place for a criminal.
It's not.
To deter a criminal.
Well, that was the point I believe I was trying to make. And
so all the safety that they talk about is null and void. And
go ahead. I told them, I said, look, everybody that's here is pretty much already playing by the rules. What about the people who are not? Right? No one thinks about it. Like you said, they don't write laws for people to break them.
We created a regulation that is going to interfere with the guy who is out there earning a living, the guy that's out there that is using this technology, leveraging this technology for business purpose, and not for the reasons why you said you implemented this. You talked about safety. Your thing was safety, and
hey, Ray Kelly,
it's that the other in New York, and that's not what's happening. But what I did want to move on to was, talking about drones being used for safety. Because New York, they expanded their drone fleet for beach monitoring. Lars, recently they've had some incidents that they claim is happening. So the New York State Office what do you call it there?
They're mostly Long Island municipalities.
Yeah, well, they've well, no, it's not only Long Island, but New York City area. They've provided more funding and for additional drones to monitor the state and beaches. So I don't, and it's funny because some of the state beaches, sharks wouldn't even get in there. But that's
True.
This is more so like around the coastal area. I mean, like here in the city, Long Island area.
Right.
So,
right. The Long Island suburban beaches.
Yeah. So Governor Kathy Hochul, we mentioned her before, right? Here it is. So now the drones are good now, Kathy, right? So here we go. So she announced this reinforcement to be done of these drones that they have that they supposedly now 5 shark incidents they claim in recent time over the 4th of July weekend. So now they're supposedly now releasing, they claim, dozens of drones. Yeah, they're supposed to be releasing dozens of drones now into this program.
And FYI, guess who's flying them?
Who?
State troopers, and they're going to train the Coast Guards to fly them without a 107. I want to see how that turns out.
Now, here's the thing. They can actually go out and hire people to do this. This is I don't know. They claim that they have dozens of drones to do this. Right now, they only have 33 pilots that are operating doing this. You would think
state troopers and Parks Department employees I've seen flying these drones.
Yes. So that means that they're getting these people Part 107.
I'm assuming so. I hope so. Regular people getting paid now without 107. It's funny you say that, Brooklyn Jimmy, because where I fly out in Far Rockaway, people see me flying a drone, and often I hear people walking by saying he's looking for sharks. But I did go out there the other day and was actually looking, but I wasn't looking for sharks. I was looking for large schools of fish, because wherever there are large schools of fish, the sharks aren't far behind.
You know what's funny about that? Not to go away from that. I remember one day was me, Big Matt, I believe was there, Ray. We went out to the park, and Ray approached the police about flying in the area. The police was like, okay. So this guy saw us flying, and he was telling his friends, those guys are the police. They're flying the drones to make sure everybody is social distancing in the park.
During COVID, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember flying during COVID. And that was the one time the Karens weren't out.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Karens during COVID.
You know what would have happened if a Karen was out when you was flying your drone? The propellers are just spreading the COVID.
Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, she's spreading it around. You're spreading it around to the birds and everything else. Yeah, I know. And then you touched it and the germs are falling off into the sand. I know.
Your propellers are just spreading the COVID around.
I can imagine. All right, Mr. Crawley, have a great evening. You know, it's funny, but the Karens seem to have calmed down for a little while, but eventually one will come up. Hey, what's up, Maddie's Drone World?
They're nice people too. I actually know a couple.
Couple of Karens?
Yeah.
That's sad. The fact that I have a relationship with that one that I met last year. I told you I shot the Karen video and the cop was like, lady, go whatever. And I saw her riding a bike with her son.
I still
made eye contact. And it was like, dun, dun, dun. And she rode by.
Waiting for the right moment to attack you.
She might be, but she rode by with her son. She might be, seriously. And I said, the person I was talking with, I said, watch them turn around and ride back by here. I said, that lady tried to have the police kicked me off the beach for flying my drone, and they told her, "Look, lady, leave the guy alone." And he's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, that was a Karen."
She
And
gonna get
sure
a
enough, they turned around, and her and a 16-year-old son went walking by, so riding by on the bikes, and I smiled at them and
camera
watched them go by.
brigade and rough you up.
Listen, that's okay. I know how to fly my drone into somebody too. I fly FPV.
Oh, I'm talking about after you pack up one day and you're walking away one of those little side streets, they're gonna pop out from behind nowhere, out of nowhere, and just rough you up.
Give me the drone. Give me the drone now, right? In 2021, no one cared what we were doing outside. You're right, Big Matt. I mean, people were flying in places they never thought they would have a chance to fly in. And that's all I'm going to say.
No
That's
one
all.
cared. They only cared then when you see, right now, let me see if I could explain this to you. And and you'll understand what's happening. And my father had explained this to me. There was a time here in New York City, right, where yellow cabs went to all 5 boroughs. They take people all over the city, no matter where you were, you flag a cab.
I remember. You'd see a yellow cab.
As time went on and years went by, we moved into like the 70s and the 80s. These yellow cab drivers started getting stuck up and beat up and stuff like that for their money, in their cabs, going into the Bronx and certain places here in Brooklyn and in Queens. So they stopped going, especially going out to Staten Island, because once that toll came up and started getting ugly, I'm going to pay that toll to take you across the bridge, but I'm not going to get a fare coming out.
Right.
So they stopped wanting to go there.
And they stopped wanting to go to the Bronx too, because they were getting robbed.
Right, that's what I said. So what happened is right after that, all of these other little cab companies in those boroughs started popping up. Like little, as you might say, privately owned companies popping up all over the place. And it was like, wow. Was it the guys that wanted the jurisdiction that was robbing them for the jurisdiction? It's food for thought.
I do remember the yellow cab days.
Was it the same guys that now operate in that area, beating you up and robbing you, just so they can get that area, so you can stay away? So now they can operate in that area? Is that what was happening?
Pretty much.
It's an old tactic. Still works. It's in the playbook. Everyone uses it. Maybe that's what you're seeing right now. But I just wanted to mention this whole thing here with the with the governor, and this expanding this project, because I think that the waters are getting a little cleaner, and people are enjoying the beaches a little more, and in these areas you're seeing more and more fish, which means that the waters are getting clean as food for them to eat.
That's what I actually put.
And if the fish are there and they're in abundance, it's going to draw these predators in there, like the sharks. They're going to come into that area. Well,
I wanted to point that out, that New York City, the metropolitan area, since they've been cleaning up the waterways, the Gowanus, and all these sludge factories and stuff.
Well, that's a little different.
Life is coming back to New York. There was a time when New York had horseshoe crabs, and they're very, very delicate in the line of animals that survive. So if the horseshoe crabs are back, we're seeing dolphins, we're seeing whales off the coast of New York more, and it's because the water's cleaner. And if the water's cleaner, more fish come. If more fish come, there are more sharks. It's called mob tactics. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what
it is. It is, and it's not really a mob tactic. It's not really a mob tactic. The mob didn't create that idea.
So the fact that we are experiencing more and more shark bitings has a lot to do. Just last week, they saw a school of 45 to 50 sand sharks, all of them roughly 4 feet long. They don't grow very big, but they were all hunting.
Mhm.
You know, so I refuse to be a fish. That's for damn sure. Well, it's just that the splashing around is
Hey,
often mistaken for a wounded fish.
oh,
They don't
well,
know it's
shit.
an instinctive thing. They see something splashing around. Oh, it's
You know
hurt.
what? You know what? I've heard that bullshit a little bit too much.
What?
That they think that you're a fish flapping around, and how
No.
sharks don't like the taste of humans, and they just think you're a fish. I just think the shark
Russell.
wants to eat. It's
Yeah.
gonna eat, and
Instinctive. Russell Glerm says we have whales in Colonial Beach, Virginia, and they wear bikinis.
yeah, I know. I've seen that.
But that's basically what it is, though. That the waters are cleaner,
Um,
which brings more fish, and more fish bring more sharks. It's
and that's
already
going to
known.
happen more and more. But you see, they also were saying that this is not happening any more than any other time. It's just that the worldwide media coverage of it,
And you see more of it, right? More
right,
cameras.
is making it seem like it's a lot more of this happening. But they've been there, they said.
Right, before drones were starting to catch sharks. These sharks have been migrating from the southern water, from the islands up the East Coast, all the way up to Massachusetts area, that inlet, to mate and have babies, whatever, and swim back down. It's been happening for years and years and years. So now that there's a drone catching a 6-foot shark or a 10-foot shark 100 yards off the shore, it's not rare. It's not. I mean, one guy that's supposed to be a shark expert said that actually sharks hate people. I refuse to believe that. But
Here we go.
yeah, I refuse to believe that, though.
Here we go. I don't believe that, because people have multiple bites, some of these people, when they've been attacked. Like the shark has just continued. The shark was trying to eat them. I'm not trying to hear that. He was liking what he was tasting.
Of course.
There was one poor little girl. She didn't punch him in his eye or whatever to get away. Nah, that's crazy. I mean, I'm not saying that. Listen, it's their home. We're just visitors. So when they say get out, it's time to leave. You know, I'm not crazy about the beach. I hate the hot sand. And
I'm sorry.
You got your package.
You know what, Herman?
Yeah.
Remember before the live stream, I was telling you the Amazon man was supposed to come, right? Well, they sent me a message saying that it would be delivered. He's 3 stops away. First 5 stops, 3 stops. You're the next stop. And then it went from you're the next stop to he'll be there between 3:30 and 4:30. It's now 6:01, and he just knocked on the door, and I just got the package.
Got your package. I just think that.
So now how am I supposed to rate this? Because where we live is a little cul-de-sac, you know, and yeah, he just dropped it off, yo. But where we live is a little cul-de-sac, and
you call it what you
he
want.
was in this area and left it. He was going further away, but I was the next stop. I'm like, what the hell? But it finally got here.
You call it what you want.
Huh?
You call it what you want. It's not like there's 4 houses that he has to go to.
Listen, he met some shorty up in here somewhere, and he took her to McDonald's and brought her back.
That's what happened.
Listen, I'm glad it's here. It's just a headset. That's all. I need a gaming headset.
And for that, he was hounding the UPS guy.
That's right. I was hounding UPS. The laser shit, not laser shipped, laser shit. That's what they're called. You should have got me my. And this is funny.
But they don't live over here no more.
To show you how Amazon is, I ordered this yesterday. It was Prime Day. I did all right. I'll contribute to.
Did you get a discount?
Contribute to them sending up another rocket ship. Yeah, and I said, well, have it sent to the locker. The locker's downstairs. You know, it's outside, and they told me I can't get it for 3 days. So I said, well, let me have it sent to the house. Yeah. Oh, you can get it tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to complain. I like going to the locker.
About ordering a fat wax for the car.
What happened?
I was thinking about ordering a whole vat of wax for the car.
You need it, man. You need it, definitely. I forgot something here.
No, but that stuff though is good though. That ceramic wax that I use.
Yeah.
When the birds do doing their business, you just wipe it right on.
Really?
Yeah.
It's good like that, huh?
Wednesday night. What happened?
Right.
Supposed to get a drop. You did not queue up.
See, that's what I'm setting up right now.
See, this is why
setting it up as we speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking for
those guys are sponsored by those guys.
I'm looking for a new co-host.
I was on point. I was on point.
Queue up the commercials properly.
Oh boy, here we go.
Bring the brakes in properly.
Bring the brakes in properly.
Yeah, but you sent me an article, and I was checking this out, and I was interested in this because it says the Air 3, right, means for, what does it mean, the Air 3 mean for the Mini 3 Pro and the Mavic 3 Classic?
Well,
and I thought that was interesting when I saw the article, and I did the whole translation of the article. I was reading it. It was basically geared towards those who fly in the EU. And it goes on to talk about the Mavic 3 and the C3 class and stuff like that, the rating system for the drone. And they were looking at where's this drone going to be rated? Huh?
Where it would fit in?
Yeah, where would it fit in their class system that they have for the drones? And I thought that was interesting because it's been going on back and forth, like the cameras, the lens sensor size, and whether or not it would work and it would fit into what class, because we know this, that, and the other, this drone had that, and what the previous drone had and stuff like that. You know, and I thought that article was interesting when you sent to me.
Yeah, I from what I took from that article also, how they compare the Air 3 to what's out there.
Okay.
And I was under the impression.
Well, see, the Air 3, from what everybody knew at the time of this article, it was only speculations.
True. That's true. But I did find we're going to get into the Air 3 a little later on because we have the same specs that you guys have been seeing all week. And I just want to point out, I did mention one thing, as Herman seems to have frozen. So I'm going to keep going with the live stream until he comes back. But I did seem to mention one feature that I was pretty sure they were going to put on the Air 3, and that was the night mode. We won't get into the Air 3 too much until we finish talking about what we were talking about. But the Air 3 is, are you going to buy it? It's just a bigger Mini 3 Pro with 2 cameras. I'm still getting it though, no matter what New York says. Listen, Big Matt, I'm going to explain something to you. Those of you drone pilots that watch this replay and or lurking now to watch it live now, I can honestly tell you, the New York Police Department, they may have tried to put this law through, these rules through to apply for 107 workers and get rid of. In 2005, 2006, they amended the aggravation law, and the aggravation law had to do with landing and taking off of aircraft. They added the word drone to it, and they still, present day, have not updated the NYPD, New York City Police Department's handbooks. Because when I ran, and they put that into effect in 2005, 2006, and when I ran into the Karen, the police officer said, while I was dealing with Karen and listening to her, he was looking in his handbook, police handbook, on what he could tell me about not flying a drone, and there was nothing amended to it. So I doubt very much this will be amended if they haven't even updated from 2005, 2006, if that makes any sense. You know, so I wouldn't worry about it, Matt. I am disappointed that the Air 3 is still using cell phone sensors. I mean, for the telephoto, we expect that, but I thought they would have at
March,
least thrown a 1 inch on. Yeah,
I'm back.
welcome back, and see this. I kept it going.
Well, I have to contact these people after the stream. I got a lot of cussing to do
Oh yeah.
because I don't understand why the
Gary.
internet dropped and came back, and it did the same shit last week.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. I'm just waiting to see this thing come back in the YouTube studio to make sure that it is actually broadcasting the stream properly.
You are, because I'm looking at it right now without you on the screen. Until you came back in. For some reason, I get the delay.
Well, I can't. I don't have time to worry about whether or not it's going to work and continue to work.
It's working now. It's working. That's all that matters.
But I'm looking at the studio, YouTube studio, and what that's doing.
Hey, Gary, what's up, man? But I can say this as a drone pilot in New York City. I know I was explaining, Herman, that in 2005 and 2006, they amended the word drone to the aggravation law, which meant you were not supposed to take off and fly a drone in New York. And, well, they have police handbooks to show that. Because when I ran into my Karen last year, the police officer said, there's nothing in my handbook that tells me that you cannot fly a drone. But nothing that can tell me you're flying illegally.
But the police do it, and they do it under a federal certificate.
Right, the same certificate that I have. Right?
Correct. We were talking about that.
If you only fly in Class G airspace, are they going to bust your chops? View Chaser in Class G airspace means nothing. What New York City Police Department says, if you want to fly, you have to pay us $150 a month ahead of the date you want to fly. So if I want to fly on August 1st, 30 days ahead of that, I need to pay them $150.
Let me see if I can explain this to you.
Hey, Uncle Bill.
And I'll make it very simple. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to ban drone flight in New York City.
In New York City, yes. Because they're getting ready to start having all these eVTOLs and all this stuff that's supposed to happen in late 24 going into mid 25.
And they don't want the thousands of members you have in your group to be buzzing around any of these things.
Right. That's pretty much what it is. But Herman did predict, and hey, visual line of sight. What's up, Dustin? We have to go back and find this, Herman, where you predicted 2.5, 3 years ago that you would have to be a 107 pilot to fly in New York. Because you said it.
They're even making that harder for him.
Yeah, I know. They are, but it's not going to work.
They're making it harder for him by making up some rule that no one can adhere to.
Well, I mentioned this during the hearing also, that the fact that there was a time in the state of New York before we had to call, in New York City metropolitan area, before we had to call the airport and say, I'm flying a drone 200 feet for 30 minutes. Before that, there was a time where in order to fly a drone and certain craft in New York City, you had to apply 30 days in advance. And I mentioned to the lawyer, hey, that failed because the FAA stepped in. What's that, Herman?
Well, have you ever applied? How recent have you ever applied for something at a city agency? Now you're talking about an agency that's not prepared to do something like this.
To handle it. Do you know how the city would be inundated with backlog if New York City drone pilots were to line up for permits? They would say, oh, yeah, we're raking in the money, but they couldn't handle it.
So I'm going to keep flying, and my answer is you never gave me an application.
Listen, you never gave
me. I don't have a contract with you.
Right now, work is work, and until the FAA tells me that I cannot land or take off in New York City, I will watch where I fly from. I will admit that. But until the FAA tells me who I'm registered, keep in mind, NYPD, you are city. I
Mhm.
am certified federally. I do not really. I have to listen to you if you pull out and you try to tase me, but I mean, you get my point. You do get my point, right? And most New York City Police Department employees, when they see a drone, they usually go, "Oh, cool, I have one." Right, Herman?
A
In the
lot of
last
guys
few
have.
years, in the last 3 years, we've noticed a lot of that, right?
Yeah, a lot of guys have.
But
But
until that rule is written down and it's law, I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm not.
Keep flying, keep conducting business, keep making that money as a 107 pilot. And if you're not a 107 pilot, you better fucking become one soon. Unless you enjoy flying in little circles, 200-foot circles, because that's only place you're gonna be able to fly is in those FRIAs, those AMA fields. In fact, Calvert Vaux Park has the largest AMA field in the city. You may get away flying there.
Does it?
If you join, right? Herman told me this. They'll let you fly there once or twice, but they'll be like, yo, this is a private club and it belongs to members. You want to join?
Yeah, that's a lot of the AMA fields are. They'll let you fly because you're an AMA member.
Not just
or
yet,
especially-
Gary. I'm still
And they
waiting.
allow members that are visiting from other states to come and fly. But if you're in that city and you're an AMA member, you want to fly on the field, and like I said, they'll let you fly a few times there.
You see,
But after that, they really expect you to join the club, pay a dues that maintains the field. See, this is what I tell guys all the time. Guys like to do meetups and stuff like that. We all enjoy the South Florida drone meetup, and it's a lot of work for the guys that put that together. And they do put together a very very good program over there for that South Florida drone meetup. But these clubs at the AMA fields, they accept a dues from their members, a yearly dues, and it's about $100 for your yearly dues. And I know a lot of guys go, "Oh, that's a lot of money, a lot of money." That's not a lot of money.
Stop it. You spend more than that on fucking filters for your drone.
Some guys on beer.
Hold on. I want to get to these comments real quick. The FAA by Big Mac isn't prepared for our issues, but they're prepared to take $5 from tens of thousands, from tens of millions of people. This is true. Maddie Drone World, I did not know this. Mike Henrik, Air 2S Army, passed away. So my condolences to him and his family. And Jim's droning, trust me, if they tase me, I damn sure won't be flying. You're right about that. We'll make sure I fall on somebody. Sitting on the ground going, get him off, get him off. But I digress.
Yeah, you're right.
That's all I'm saying. But we want to talk about you. I don't know if you want to talk about the air.
We got a lot of things here because
good.
Back to what I was talking about before with the article you mentioned to me, you said to me, and there's been a lot of speculation about that drone, and we guys have seen in recent time the specs that were leaked out, or this drone is like the most leaked shit ever. Like, it's not even a surprise anymore. You might as well. They might as well ask who wants to buy one and leave it in front of your house.
I don't know why they're calling it a leak, because it's not leaked. We knew about these things.
Well, yeah, because the guys that are doing this, like I said to you before, is DJI marketing and promotions team. That Igor is the new guy. Osita sat this one out, I guess.
Osita is now Igor.
No. He hasn't gone anywhere. He sat this one out because we knew Igor was doing
got promoted
because of the conversation that was mentioned the week before the leak started. That was a conversation with this gentleman Igor on Twitter. So we knew that he was going to be handling all of the Air 3 stuff that was coming out.
Yeah.
But, this is an old picture. I don't know. What's that on the table?
It is.
But,
sure. Here's the new one.
We got these new photos coming out, and everybody has seen these here. You know, see, the controller looks intelligent now, doesn't it?
Yes, it looks like a radio now.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like something you can eat food off of.
350.
Uh-huh. Well, this you're estimating about 350 for the two antennas. That sounds about right.
That's the control, yeah.
$25 a pack, an antenna. That sounds about right in today's prices. 46 minutes of flight time, right?
Yeah, that's nice. Nice little drone there. I mean, we want to look at what we know. So from what I'm understanding here, what I'm hearing, they're going away from the 1-inch sensor. From what I'm understanding, this is just talk. Going away from the 1-inch sensor to a 1/1.3 sensor or CMOS sensor on this now.
Yeah.
Two of them in this camera. Two of them. We're talking about what? 40, as you mentioned before, 47-minute flight time with 48 megapixel stills.
I say boo to that.
4K 60 frames per second, HDR, maximum video. We got specs here of what is it? We got 4K 100 frames per second. In what both cameras will support 2.7K in vertical 10-bit vertical shooting.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's going to work.
So I guess that's going to work internally in the camera.
It is. The camera will no longer physically turn vertical.
Right. Which is a great improvement in the science of the camera, because you don't have to flip the camera anymore.
This is true, which means less moving parts means less breakable parts.
Exactly.
I wanted to point out that the technology on the bottom of these birds.
Right. Give me 1 second, Lawrence. It also has 10-bit D-Log M and 10-bit HDL in both cameras. So it's shaping up to be a decent little bird.
No doubt it will. No doubt it will be.
To know why they went away from the 1-inch sensor.
See, that's what bothers me, because I put this up for a reason. I'll go into it in a second. There's some technology. And
going with, I just find that what they do now in as far as technology wise in the science inside the camera and its abilities.
Yeah.
You're getting better image quality from some of these cameras.
Yeah, you are.
Smaller sensors. And some of these smaller sensors, even though they still will never be able to do what the larger sensor is actually doing and actually giving you naturally. But what they have been able to do is improve the image quality.
Very, very true. Now, what I wanted to point out, that's not the only thing that they've been able to improve. And I noticed this because this is the, if you look at these sensors right here, these are the sonic sensors. They still use sound to identify landing with their drones, which is ingenious, along with laser. These windows here are laser panels for measuring the distance between the ground while landing, etc. But I looked at my Mavic Pro recently, and the technology has definitely changed, Herman, from the speaker, the sonic system that's on here compared to the Mavic Pro. People have said this before. They test out everything on us before they come out with the good shit. And that being my point.
It's funny
how it does extremely low light. Mr. Skyfly, it has night mode.
Well, we'll see.
Well, if you see night mode on the Mavic 3, and
we will see, because once again, and I remember I said to you about natural things.
Yes.
There are things that occur naturally, and those things will just never change. And when it comes to a camera, this will never change. The bigger the eye, the better the see.
True.
So the bigger the eye, the better it will see.
Yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. I just saying, all right, it may have added more weight to the drone and stuff like that.
Well, adding another
I was
camera.
really expecting them to take the 1-inch sensor from the Air 2S.
And add a smaller sensor to that box.
Yes.
And
Yes,
okay,
I'm disappointed on that end.
To make the Air 3 a slightly bigger drone than the Air 2S.
Yes, but instead they did the exact opposite. They've made it almost the size of the Air 2S, maybe slightly taller because of the camera.
I actually like the way the drone looks. I don't have the drone. None of us have the drone. What it's going to do, I don't know. Like I said, they've been able to do a lot of things image quality wise to these drones.
Right. That you can notice the difference.
A lot of the hocus pocus, they've been able to do a lot of that.
Smoke and mirrors.
But as far as, naturally, what naturally occurs in a camera, those are things that, like I said, the larger the sensor.
Here's a perfect example. Ray of Sunshine says
image quality is what I believe is most important, especially when you're dealing with the drone.
Right. Well, Ray of Sunshine says good point about them testing out on us, and I'm going to give you the perfect example.
I said that more than 4 years ago.
This sensor. Hold on, let me pull a picture up. Okay, this sensor.
Been the test.
This sensor used to be the obstacle avoidance on, I believe, used to be the obstacle avoidance on the Phantom 4 Pros. This right here, this little round laser, little thingy right here, that they now use to test distance. And the reason I'm saying that, if you remember, Herman, when the Phantom 4 Pro had those tiny little holes, they definitely weren't using the sonic sensors. There was glass inside. If you look inside your bird, you get a chance. Shine a light in there, and you'll see there's a protective glass right there. And I'm just wondering, is this the same laser system that they?
What, on the bottom of where?
This one on the bottom of the Air 3 and all the drones, the Mavic series.
You see the two round ones at the front and the back?
Yeah, those are sonic. Those are sound.
That's what you had on the bottom of your Phantom 4 Pro.
Correct, but the speaker system.
Now, see those the ones you have there that you were talking about, that there?
The laser.
You had something like that, which was in infrared on your side sensors on your Phantom 4 Pro.
That's what I was mentioning. Yes, for your side sensors. Yes, definitely. So they have done more than enough testing on us. Stop a screen shared. Okay.
It's just like beyond visual line of sight, when that first came into speech, well, we knew that would become an issue because it had already been done.
Right.
And some of the same people who were demonized for doing it were able to do it with less of equipment. And then what happened? The talk became if the equipment was capable, then it could be done. Isn't that what was holding up beyond visual line of sight from the beginning?
Yeah.
Was the fact that technology wasn't capable of doing it safely?
Well, all I can say is
a lot of these products have come out and the consumer has tested it. Now they want to do away with consumer products to just move commercial products.
A few companies have done that, Herman.
No, they've all
done companies.
DJI and Autel is the only ones that still make quality consumer drones.
Yes, you're 100% right. They still make consumer drones, and I applaud DJI and Autel, because even though Autel is another Asian drone company,
but is that a good thing? Because listen, we speak sometimes, and sometimes we speak as if the world begins and ends between New York and California.
In California, yeah. And there's a much bigger world out there.
Right. And even though we have such a large, vast country, if those drones, Autel and DJI drones, were not able to be not only used. See, this is how retarded America is. If they weren't allowed to use DJI and Autel drones in America, they'd still be sold at Best Buy.
Yes, they would. And this is something that I wish you were there at the hearing to bring up, Herman, because I know you would have brought this question up. You want us to stop flying.
They'll still be sold at Best Buy. It's just like
right.
All these places around. You allow guys to operate businesses, and they're selling and buying tint,
illegal,
putting tint on people's car and paying state sales tax for the work, and then you turn around and give them a ticket.
Yep. Get your windows tinted in New York City. Walk up. Ray of sunshine is true. This is why I wish Herman was able to make it to the hearing about that New York City we went to.
Well, it would have been either you go do the job,
stopping people from flying drones,
and I go to the hearing,
and I can go to a local store and buy one. So you're charging tax to buy drones. You're making money off of the tax to buy these drones, but you're telling the person who buys it, oh, but you can't fly here. You got to go to Jersey or Long Island to fly.
They'll never stop Best Buy from selling them because you won't stop commerce, but you'll stop the other end of it, the guy using it.
Stopping commerce from the guy that's using the drone. How asinine is that?
I don't know. I don't want to keep beating on that, but I was just thought that I'm curious to see what comes out with the Mavic 3. Well, not Mavic 3, so
the Air 3.
Air 3, shit.
The Air 3. I no doubt it'll be a great bird.
Now I'm kind of interested in the drone.
Hold on. I want to see that APAS 5.0 because the APAS that's on the Mavic 3 is phenomenal.
It's crazy. Yeah, I think that works pretty good. I think that's.
So if they've improved on what was already phenomenal on obstacle avoiding that APAS 5.0,
yes,
it says for enhanced security, allowing even beginners to fly with confidence.
Bro, that Mavic 3. I mean, I thought even the Air 2S was pretty good, but that Mavic 3, forget about it. Listen. You saw we were in the park. We played around with it. We tried to fly it into us.
Herman tried. We did try. This was very stupid.
Depending on where it was, in a few inches this way or this way, it would take off and go that way.
Herman tried to get this thing to run into him. Then I said, no, let's start. I stood next to him, and we tried at chest level. This drone said, this way. It would go over our head. It would go that way. The APAS is already phenomenal on it. I see people flying with it between trees and all kinds of stuff. So 5.0 has to be.
It up away from us. It backed up, and when it got too close to the bushes, it moved up over the bushes.
Yes. So
for those who know what bushes are, that's like.
Also, they're talking about something new called Smart Photo 3.0. It's a single shot mode. What this does, it says with the drone can automatically select among HDR, hyperlight, and scene recognition according to the scenario for better imaging results. So what is it saying? Are they trying to say that it recognizes its environment and would know how to adjust an HDR or hyperlight?
Excuse me. Well, basically,
that's what I'm wondering.
With stuff like that, right? And this is what I was saying to you about image quality. Guys don't realize when we complain about the price of these drones, you don't realize how much technology is actually packed into some of this stuff. I don't have it here, but I have a camera that's $2,000. It's an entry-level full-frame camera. There's a lot of technology packed into that camera that a lot of people take for granted. Now, that thing is $2,000 a full-frame camera. But it's $2,000. Now imagine if it had props on it to fly.
Yeah, that would be fucking badass.
You see what I'm saying? And guys are spending close to $2,000 buying APS-C sensors and 4/3 sensor cameras. Spend a little over $1,000 on them.
Well, see,
these
now
things don't fly.
Right, but now you can put these things on sin lifters.
No, but what I'm saying to you, these cameras don't fly. And you got now the same camera sensors that are now able to fly, and we complain about the price. We take for granted how much technology is actually packed into this thing.
Yeah. The Fly Guy Merle says they have Smart Shot on the Air too. Okay. I would like to know how it is because this is Smart Shot, Smart Photo, Smart
Lawrence
Shot.
doesn't use those features.
I really don't. I would like to know how this stuff works. If
He
it can make
dials
my
it up,
job
dials
easier,
it in, puts a filter on, and filters off. He does
well,
it
that's
the old school way.
believe that's how I was taught
The
to fly.
windy, Lawrence? A little bit, a little bit.
You make me feel like an OG in this.
I said, how fast is the wind? 1,000, 1,000, about 3, 4, 5 miles an hour, depending how fast my finger dry.
That's funny. Multiply it by pi 2.14 to get the answer, right?
I didn't ask for the circumference of your finger. I asked for
Hey, it's possible, but I'm looking forward to seeing, and you guys, Big Matt said he's going to get it. Big Matt, it's like we got the Mini 3. I would love to see that bird in action. Now, here's something that I thought
I can't get
a little weird, Herman. The telephoto is only 3 times.
Right, I get that. And you know what? I can't get it. I can't.
I don't look. I have sense. On the Air 2S. I have 5 times zoom on the Air 2S.
It doesn't make sense to get it to me.
I have a hold on. I have a 5 times zoom on the Air 2S. I have thanks, Gary. We're trying to get to 30, but I don't think they love us today. 1-inch sensor on the Air 2S. 5.4 gigahertz. I know 5.4 resolution. It's bigger the eye.
I think it's a nice drone from what I'm hearing.
Yes, and
honestly,
night mode.
If I did say for buying something, and I know that like this drone here is known for that range where it's
that even medium,
just below the classic, the Mavic
yes.
Classic price.
Yes, that's the even medium. If you could not afford the classic, this would be the way to go. And I did. Well, it wasn't just me.
I could see a guy that owns the classic buying this drone.
No,
and I tell you why. If
why?
Because hey,
explicit.
I bought the Mini 3 Pro because it was different. There were things about it that was a little different with the drone.
But you're talking about someone who does not have the Air 2S already.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Exactly. So with having the Air 2S, I'd always said to myself that with the Mavic 3 now in my hands, if I had to travel, I'll just take the Air 2S.
Air 2S, right.
And use the Air 2S.
Come on, 2 more likes. 2 more likes, guys.
As far as being able to, the Mini 3 Pro, you could just grab that and go. It's easy.
Slip it inside your hoodie.
Nothing about it is heavy. Drone. Right. Right, exactly. The Air 2S, the whole setup for the Air 2S and carrying the batteries and it was a little bigger, but not hard to deal with. Because I did take it to Florida with me. And,
you could carry it in your pocket.
I took it to Florida for the South Florida drone meetup.
Yeah, we both took our Air 2S.
And the Mavic 3. I took the Mavic 3 as well. I had both of them with me.
Right, I took 2 FPV birds and an Air 2S.
The case for it is a decent sized case. It's not huge. It fits in the overhead. All of those.
It looks like a gun box. It looks like a revolver gun box. I have it right here. My Air 2S. I love this
So
case, courtesy
I
of
just think that
Herman, those
it was
guys.
a nice
area.
drone, and for somebody like I said that has a classic that has the one camera, you now have this drone that has vertical shooting, you know, and
Yes.
for the video at 2.7, you have a couple of different features that is featured on this drone. I mean, the sensor size will soonly be forgotten with the image quality that it's going to probably have.
It is
And
because
I really believe that, especially
48
considering how
megapixel, dude.
with the update that was done with the Mavic 3, I think it made the sensor, they enhanced whatever quality with that sensor that they could do with it. And then when the Pro came out, there were certain updates that came to the Mavic 3, the original Mavic 3, that changed the camera a little bit too. So like that whole 7-time punch in on photos and a video, yeah, you can punch right in on top of the subject. And if you're not careful, you won't even know where the hell you are.
Well,
That's
I did notice.
You know.
Yeah, that's true.
You
could lose. You could lose where you are. But I wanted to point this out about the Air 3 also, that I did notice immediately. They are using the Mavic 3 sensors. And Herman and I were pointing this out, how the Mavic 3 would not hit us. These sensors right here, the angle that they are on is optimum because you could not fly the Air 2S sideways. You could, but there's a risk you could hit something. With these sensors angled the way they are, if you see this cross reference here, Herman, I'm trying to make right here, this crosses up to this axis. This rear one crosses, so they actually overlap, which gives you the ability to fly sideways now. You know, with just using 4 sensors. Yeah, it does. This battery pack thing.
They went back to that canister style of battery, a plug-in, like the Phantoms, which was the safest battery option that can't fall out.
And here's the gimbal cover.
None of that swelling underneath the bottom or batteries that swell on the top.
Don't look at this gimbal cover. I think this is one of the better ones they designed. Or do you think they're going to give it up for third party?
Well, third party probably would do it. Yeah, why not?
I see a lot of third parties.
I think that it's a lot of. I think the DJI made they took a direction with this to try to beat third party. So third party.
Thank you, Gary. We got to our 30 likes. Thanks. Who's gonna? Gary comes in politics for us.
I don't think that third party needs to make one now. I think that DJI got tired of everybody shitting on their gimbals, the gimbal guards, and going with a third party gimbal guard. They were horrible gimbal guards DJI made.
Yes.
Let's not get it twisted.
Hey, Gary, thank you for the burner account to come in and have us hit 30. Gary used his burner account
6 times.
He can't use his burner account. Gary's wood shop. Thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate it. All of that. But I seriously don't see how it's going to be a bad bird. With night mode alone, that's a plus. Also, here's something they did not put into it that we noticed. Aperture control.
Well, there's no talk about it, so that feature will not be on the drone.
But this 20-kilometer range, that's 10 miles, isn't it? How far does the Mavic 3 go?
Far enough.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Listen, that whole thing is just gimmicks, man, and the whole
because you don't expect to fly.
And it's not even about you flying that far.
The Mavic 3 is 9.3 miles.
Signal strong in close proximity.
Yes, which means you should be able to fly in areas where the signal would generally be blocked. You should have more than enough signal to fly your bird.
Well, truthfully speaking, this is why we are able to operate over in Brownsville the way we do.
Yeah, yeah, right next door
Without
to
the
the prison.
drone actually acting the real fool.
Love the Maverick 3.
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, yes, I
This is
do.
why we're able to operate over there without the drone acting the real fool of itself.
Hey, Tammy Jean,
Because
how
there's
are you?
enough in the area for that drone to act the real fool of itself. Tammy Jean, what's going on? How's it going there?
Welcome to the stream. She's listening while editing a video. We
What you
appreciate you for stopping by. My stomach feels a little better, Herman. I think I did the right thing to get rid of the bug. We got this next story.
Well, as of now, I just want to make this announcement. As of now, I'm trying to keep a couple of Saturdays open. So if
Okay.
anybody's planning any kind of flights or meetups and stuff like that,
You
let
hear
me
that?
know if you're in your
Next couple
tri-state
of
area.
Saturdays, Tammy, have a meetup next Saturday, Tammy.
Here we go.
What's
You just can't tell them. We're gonna have meetup next Saturday.
Okay, all right. Well, all right.
Just
well,
let me know, and
next-
I'm there.
in the next couple of Saturdays, if someone in the New York areas or they're in the New York area, we might be willing to travel outside New York, not too far because of work, but we might be willing to travel a little bit, right, Herman, to go fly?
Maybe.
Yeah, that depending on situation. So, or if you want to have a meetup,
Well, if you're in the New York area, just hit me up.
and
Let
you
me
want
know
to
what's
come down
going
and
on.
fly with us.
Don't hit me up and like, oh, you got a couple of spots I can go fly?
If Tammy's not if Tammy is editing, she's not paying attention.
Yeah, that's all right.
Does Jasper
But,
or Ice have a channel?
Lawrence, you know, we talk about drones, and we've talked extensively about this Air 3, the Mavic 3. We talk about all these drones we fly. We talk about these eVTOLs and stuff like that. And every now and then we talk about the military. Well, you know,
Right.
the military, there was an article we was checking out where some of the military can use small drones to fly ahead of military units to detect, how do you say it? CBRN. Now,
CVRN.
yeah, I was checking that out. And what they were talking about here was using these drones for small reconnaissance missions. Draper, right?
Yeah.
Draper. This is a company, right? Yeah, I know you've heard of Draper because we spoke about Draper before. Well, they've developed a detection capability for chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear elements. So that's where the CBRN elements come in. You follow what I'm saying?
Well, so toxic. So basically, toxic.
So basically, what
chemicals
this thing is can detect anything in those around those areas.
Okay.
Which is for the military. So what they're talking about is sending out scout drones ahead of the main drone to detect these things in the area.
That's smart. You don't have to send a man out there. It's smart. It's like sending a drone to explore a planet. Why send a human when you can send a drone?
So that's what they're basically saying, is they're basically scouting out the location, you know, to identify hazards within and risk within with you know, without risk.
Right, whether it be chemical or biological warfare.
Exactly. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
So that's what it's capable of doing. And I thought this was great because I read into it and I was looking at more and more what they were talking.
Yeah.
You know, they were saying that in the past that how these things had to be handheld or even fastened to a vehicle.
Because by the time the machine goes beep 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 beep, you're dead.
You're already in it. And honestly,
you're already
and you know what's funny about that? here's what's funny about that. I've used this already. I've used this equipment already at the Con Ed plant. Remember the one that caught on fire over in Queens,
Yeah, I remember. Yes.
That plant over there. I used it there when we were doing the fire station. We had to do some manhole, because we opened the manhole. You have to put the detection device in there to make sure that there's no gas.
Before you could climb down in there.
Right. And you got to monitor this thing while the guy that goes down there is down there.
Wow. Sort of like the canary in the cage?
Yeah.
With the old miners.
And also, you have
stop singing.
You have to be there to monitor it. And this, when I heard why they implemented having a person there to monitor this, I was like, you mean to tell me not just in case the guy passes out, but there was an incident that happened where the guy was down in the hole, and if you look at it, it's a tripod system that he's on.
Right.
He goes down inside the hole, and he has the thing to detect any gas. But if it's set up on a near road,
says confined space protocol. Yes.
Yeah, anybody that loses control of the vehicle can hit this tripod. Where do you think is going to happen to him?
Yeah.
He's going to come flying up to the top of that hole.
The miracle could happen if you hit one more, like Gary got us from 29 to 30.
What's the chances of him sliding through the hole cleanly?
No.
When he gets to the top.
Not while he's flailing to grab onto something, no. No, that's not doable. But
I don't want to laugh, but that's
have a video on this, right?
Huh?
We have a video on this drone that uses LiDAR.
I wanted to show this videos, but what I wanted to also talk about was the fact that I thought that it was funny because the industry that they're actually working with the joint program to exchange for the Office of Chemical, Biological, and Radiological and Nuclear Defense. They've actually funded this program to make sure that this can happen. So this video that we have is going to show you exactly how this actually works. I thought it was interesting. That's the reason why I picked this article, this story to show you guys. I was like these little fascinating things. Some of these things that these drones can actually do. And when you apply certain sciences that these guys have learned to these drones. But check out this video, Lauren.
Here we go. Right.
It's a couple of minutes. It's about a minute or so. Right?
It's a minute and 51 seconds.
Yeah.
This is the CCAR system, CBRN Autonomous Aerial Reconnaissance System. Is comprised of a government and COTS available chemical and radiation sensor, a modified commercially available UAV, and Draper's contribution to the system is the autonomy framework, the sensor-driven search algorithm, and the TAC plugin. Draper has taken the autonomy algorithm and we are able to send the UAV out front of the hazard area where the soldier does not have to be in contact with danger. The real-time information about the hazardous area is streamed to the tablet and also shared with higher headquarters.
In real time, which is important. So this thing carries a sniffer, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It can smell hazard and toxic chemicals.
Development of the CCARs is funded by the Joint Program Executive Office for Chemical, Biological, Radiological, and Nuclear Defense, JPEO CBRND.
But
that's how it should be. He who benefits the most, someone should pay a little money into it.
Yeah, I agree. And it's another thing, drones for good. If you can help our troops from walking into biological or chemical warfare, That's a
Right.
plus.
And you can set a few of these up to scout out
Create a
the
perimeter.
area.
You could create a
Mhm.
perimeter as well and
Oh, yeah.
advance move forward. Much better than a guy walking in with like the Geiger counter in his hand, clicking. You
Right.
know?
By then it's too damn late.
Right. Right. The meter says you're getting warmer, but you already breathed the shit in already.
Exactly. And you're right in the middle of the soup.
Yeah. Hey, we got to 35. Thank you much, guys. We appreciate it.
Well, if we got to 35, maybe we can get
Yeah,
40.
Gary created another account for that one, I'm convinced. He used his other 4.
Gary, can we get to 40?
No, not enough time for that, but we appreciate it, Gary.
Thank you,
Gary
Gary.
comes in and pushes for the channel, which we highly appreciate.
Gary's the best actor we
The
have.
next couple of Saturdays, if you guys are in the metropolitan area, New York City area, and you want to fly with those guys, hit us up, man. We will be available.
Or if you got a meetup or anything going on, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Let me know.
If you got a meetup or a barbecue, we come to barbecues as well.
Look at you, greedy.
We do attend barbecues. I'll even give you a free photo, this bird's eye view, for a hamburger today.
Let me see if I got this right. You're gonna give the guy a free photo for showing up at his own barbecue. That'll work.
Cheers, Angie. Avada. I don't have
Well, you
anything.
know what? You're talking about drones doing good, Lawrence.
Yeah.
And some of the stories that we've done, we talk about many of stories of drones doing good, but the one that I thought what I saw here, I saw this and I knew I had to mention it. But drones raising money or funds, I should say, for muscular dystrophy.
Okay.
You know, this company, was it SPH Engineering?
Yes.
Yeah, they're a drone technology developer expert.
Okay.
Yeah, they put together. They showcased the utilization of drone show technology for this past 4th of July. Now, I tried to find some video on them, and that was virtual. I found video on them, but nothing on this specific subject.
Right, not on that subject. I actually do have Celestial's website.
Yeah, I did, and I have Celestial too, but Celestial is actually the company that does the drone shows,
Right.
and SPH is engineering is the company that does the software.
Yeah, the
And
program.
they partnered together for a drone show, Celestial drone show, that was done for the 4th of July weekend at the Point of Bluff Vineyards in New York. This
Go ahead, I'm showing the drone show while you're talking.
this was titled Humbled Courage. This drone show that they put together was titled Humbled Courage. And
Right.
There was no actual footage on it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I searched high and low for it because I really wanted it. Not even on their site, not on the on YouTube, anywhere for it. So I actually wanted to see the show myself.
Right.
Because they put together some really nice shows with the usage of fireworks and drones. And if you go to SPH Engineering's website, you will see some really fascinating stuff on how, and even on YouTube as well, on how they actually use the technology in the computer itself to make these drone shows actually work. You know, because this actually has to start with a design. It has to start with a design, and someone puts this design together and what they actually wanted to actually make it look like, and then it has to be done computerly in a computer program for it to happen. And this is one of the companies that are actually doing it. You know, I should have had Stephen on to talk about this, because Stephen is very well versed in how it's actually done from A to Z. You know, and it starts with an idea, and you put together this thing, and someone has to now put it together, and that's where companies like you know, this come in, the SPH engineering.
Yeah.
You know, Celestial Drones, they're the actual company that's doing the show.
Okay. All right. Well, Herman, it's that time, bro.
Whoa. Wow. Time seems to fly when you're talking about these drones.
Marcel, off axis. How are you, sir? Hope all is well.
Marcel, what's going on? We're about to get out of here, Marcel, but we appreciate you coming and hanging out with us, you know, even though you stopped in just before we cut out. But everyone who's come in to hang out with us tonight, you know, those of you who are regulars, those of you who have been here for the first time, we thank you all. We appreciate you all for coming and hanging out with us and listening to some of these stories that we talk about, the information that we share with you. Lawrence, anything?
No, be safe, fly safer, and if you live in New York City, don't worry about that NYPD thing yet. They can barely get the paperwork together to update from 2005, 2006.
Listen, they can't stop people from bullying people on the subway.
Right. So
I don't think they're gonna.
I think NYPD is gonna be able to stop drone pilots.
I'm not worried about that too much. And if I'm ever stopped while I'm operating, while I'm working, bro.
Yeah, true. With work must go on. Like I said, until the FAA says anything to me as the city, all they can do is say you can't take off from that spot, but they can't tell me I can't fly.
I'll just take off from the roof of my car now. Anyway,
right. I'm not touching the ground. Right, you're in your own. You're not touching the ground. You're inside your own privately owned vehicle, and you can fly in the air.
But I'll just keep it safe. I'll just take off from inside the site.
Yeah, they can't say shit there. Anyway, you guys take it easy. We appreciate and love you all. Thank you. Wednesday Night with Those Guys is sponsored by Those Guys.
Those Guys. And with that, I'll see you next time. Those Guys.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
You already won a prize.
Good night.
Dan.
What happened?
Dan was saying,
what happened to him?
Here, does he win a prize?
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. No prize. Good night, everyone.